Hello everyone, my name is Anabnul and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to take you through the 6 commandments of drawing and painting. These are just some of the things. You are not supposed to follow them like to the latter, but these are some of the things that I found used to affect my artwork when I used to do them as a young artist, when I used to start out in art. Like we have the 10 commandments in the Bible and we have the 10 commandments in the Quran. We have the six. I have managed to come up with the 6 things that negatively impacted my artwork. So they are the do's and the don'ts. So the first one is do not use black. When I say do not use black, I mean in terms of when you are doing a painting, when you are painting something, avoid for the better part, avoid using black, because we have darker colors that you can use. You can take, for example, in a palette, in an oil paint palette, we have the blues, the blue paint. You can use that. You can use the navy blue, you can use the brown, you can use the burnt sienna, those kinds of things, to shade or to tint whatever you want to produce a shadow for. Avoid the black paint. If you have to use it in a very minimum way, or in a very scarce manner, so that you cannot, too much black in a painting tints the painting so fast, so that you cannot come back to, maybe when you want to highlight anything, it will be harder for you. The second one is do not cut out a composition. What I mean when I say do not cut out the composition, I mean that any element of any composition, especially landscapes and still lifes and portraits. When I used to do portraits, I found that when you cut a composition, you tend to take the one element of the person you are drawing, or the still life you are painting. You tend to put one foot outside the canvas or the painting. It tends to to fool the eye. It tends to tell the eye that you did not have your proportion right, so that you had to cut the composition. Do not do that. That is a don't. The third one is do not draw or paint what you don't like. My art teacher in college always used to say that you should paint something that excites you. When you see something that you like in maybe the internet, on magazines, in when you are browsing the websites, or whatever, in whatever way you find your inspiration, never paint anything that people want you to do, unless it's a commission. But if it's a commission, you should try to engage the customer or the client, so that they can come to your way of thinking. If you see you don't like this composition, or if you have been brought for a portrait, a picture that is not clear, and you don't like it, please ask for several photos. That is what I used to do as a portrait artist. As a landscape artist, I try to find various angles of whatever I'm trying to paint, and various representation in terms of photography, of whatever I want to paint. And I only draw and paint what I like. Whenever I see a picture or anything that just makes my creativity come to light, in terms of I just want to paint that, I paint that. Those are the what we call your masterpieces. Number 4, do not incorporate text. Avoid incorporating text in your paintings. If you can avoid that, that is a don't. Unless you are into commercial art, or you are an illustrator, that is understandable. But if you are an artist who tends to like doing realism or naturalism kind of, or impressionism, you can imagine having a drawing and a painting with handwriting, with writings on it. It cheapens. Actually, if you have for the people who we studied art professionally, that was the one of the don'ts our teachers used to tell us, because it automatically puts you in a category of you don't know what you want. You don't know if you are an illustrator, or you don't know if you are a painter. But all of us are artists. But there are some things that you cannot do as a painter that an illustrator can do, because they are trying to be more commercial. The fifth one, do not underestimate the power of proportion. If you do not get your proportion right, nothing in the picture can save that. It does not matter if you are good at color mixing, if you are good at painting, if you are good at tonal value. If you do not get your proportion right, even someone who has not gone to art school, someone who has not studied art, someone who has not painted, doesn't have their own experience in terms of painting, the self-taught artist will automatically notice that you have, in terms of proportion, they'll notice that there's something wrong with this, the balancing of the left and the right side of the your composition. They'll know that there's something that is not harmonious in your composition. For the laymen, not for us, for the people who are self-taught artists, and for the people who are professional artists, or for the people who went to school for art. Even your friends, the ones that are not into art, or they are not artists, they will tell you there's something wrong with this composition. And the last one, do not underestimate the process of underpainting. There is a reason why when you are painting in oils or acrylics, we tend to say you use a method of addition, in terms of you build up the color. So number one, what you should do is, when you are underpainting, never go too hard too fast, never go too dark too fast when you are doing an oil painting. For example, I'll say this because I like working in oils. So do not go too dark too fast. Use the method of addition, where you build up the color. Do not just attack the canvas in terms of you just want to cover the white parts very heavily. You don't want to like look at where the shadows will be, where your tonal values will be, where if your proportion is right. That is the time that you see your mistakes and correct them. So thank you very much. May God bless you. Those are the 6 commandments that I managed to come up with. If you have any more, you can add them, you can share them with me in the comments. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.